Welcome to Dodgers Daily. Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in. Fans, today we have a very, very, very special guest. The AA hitting coach for AA Tulsa, Damon Nasiatka, joins Dodgers Daily for the third time. Dylan, always a great pleasure.
3 times. That's pretty good. Yeah. I always enjoy always enjoy being on with you, Casey. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Okay, man. Talking off the air. The team record wasn't perfect at all times, but man, there was a lot of great individual progress that happened with Tulsa last year, was it not?
Yeah, we did. We had some guys take some steps forward in some big ways, and not an easy league to do it in. So we were happy with the progress for the most part.
Let's talk about Dalton Rushing. Let's start with him. I know he got promoted up to AAA Oklahoma City, but he was just a fantastic, one of the best hitters in the Texas League while you had him there in Tulsa. So talk about him, his potential, what makes him so special, and the type of offensive player Dodgers fans can look forward to.
Yeah, Dalton, the cool thing about Dalton was he went from being pretty darn good to being really, really good between 23 and 24. And so he cleaned some things up, came back with a lot of motivation to be a little bit more of a well-rounded offensive player, and showed that. He's obviously got a lot of power, but his ability to make contact at a high clip is pretty special too. He's a really good baseball player, thinks the game, works through the game. The ceiling for him, the potential is really unlimited. And I think what makes him really special is his internal motivation, what's inside of him. There's a fire inside of him that's incredibly strong, and I wouldn't put anything past Dalton. His opportunities are endless. He's just going to continue to break down any wall, any barrier that he needs to. So really excited to see what develops for him in the 2025 season.
Of course, his overall hit tool is great, but his power potential, when he really ties into one, I mean, it's pretty impressive, isn't it?
It's incredible. Yeah. And he came up on the bad end of a couple tough luck flyouts, a couple Tulsa flyouts that were hit deep to center. We're looking at the exit data after the game, and he's like, how many stadiums is that a home run in? And I don't want to tell him, but it's like 30 of 30. Yeah. You lost a homer in 30 of 30 because early in the season and different times in Tulsa, it plays really big out in center field, and if the wind's blowing right, it makes it really tough to get a ball out of there. So he put up big power numbers, and really there was still some left on the table. He didn't get a lot of cheap ones, that's for sure.
Yeah, for those that don't know, there One Oak Field there in Tulsa, it actually faces south, and usually the wind blows south in the spring and the summer. So typically speaking, at a ball game at One Oak, the wind is blowing in. So that makes it a lot harder to hit a home run, especially to dead center, because you're hitting it right directly into the wind that's usually blowing in at you. But hey, you got to work with Dalton Rushing and also Diego Cartaya for a long period of time. Hey, Diego, I know he struggled once he got up to AAA. It is what it is. Those moves are very difficult, but he had a lot of success at AA, kind of a bounce back for him. So what did you do to unlock him?
Diego and I have a lot of history, and kind of tapping into the things we've done in the past that worked, trying to make him comfortable in the box. Really, that was a big thing for him, is just finding positions that were comfortable, finding positions that were consistent. And the minor leagues are all about a new challenge at every level.
Yeah,
so
right.
Diego's a guy who is also he will go home this offseason. He will take some time to think about what worked and what didn't, and he'll come back prepared next year, really ready to attack the year. So I am Diego is just a fantastic person. So everybody is rooting for him. Everybody's in his corner. And, but yeah, it really, Casey, it was about kind of going back to some things that have worked in the past. It was about also, trying some new stuff out. And we spent a lot of time collaborating in the cage. And we hit during games at times. We hit early, we hit during games, we hit after games. We were just trying to get it to work, and Diego's very driven, and so we were really happy to see, like you said, a little bit of a bounce back year for him. I would anticipate next year will be even better. It would not surprise me if he put up some really big numbers. And one thing, I'm on the offensive side, but I will say Diego Cartaya's defense was incredible, and the receiving, the blocking, the throwing. He was a really dynamic catcher. He ranked in some of the highest percentile blocking catchers. We're talking about a guy who's bilingual, who's extremely intelligent. This guy has all of the makeup that you could ever ask for, and his catching is major league level. The bat is close, and we're going to get it there.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really cool that they're a lot alike in the sense that they're the two hardest workers on your team, probably the two most talented guys, and also the hardest workers. So they have that in common, but it kind of stops there because Dalton Rushing is like the fiery in your face type of guy. Diego Cartaya is a little bit more chill. So that's kind of neat how that works, isn't it?
Yeah, they're a little bit of fire and water, right? They both have potency in their own right, and you let them go long enough, and both of them are going to overwhelm you at some point. And so that's just how they roll. It's a pretty cool yin and yang, those two.
Yeah, it is. Jose Ramos, one of the most talented young prospects in the game. This is a guy that the Dodgers will continue to give chance after chance after chance because, for one, he's a great young man, but for two, if you get to see him in person, I mean, his power, his speed, just all of his tools, they take your breath away. But he led the league in Texas League last year in strikeouts. So I would have to think the one thing that Jose is trying to figure out is the bat to ball. So where are we at with Jose Ramos?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. He's an incredible athlete. You can go to a game, watch a game for 3 innings, and you're probably going to see Jose Ramos do something special.
Yes.
He might hit a ball 450 feet. He might rob a home run, make a diving play, throw somebody out, steal a base. He's really a dynamic guy. Getting on track with the strikeout rate and swing and miss rate, that's been a continuing discussion over the last year and last couple of years. He's hard at work on it. The hard thing with strikeouts and swing and miss is the more you talk about it, the more you start worrying about it, right? And you might get a little careful and conservative at the plate. So it's really just trying to keep Jose Ramos in a position where he is getting a good swing off, and there's a level of consistency. He's maturing. He's maturing extremely quickly on the mental aspect. He's a very smart baseball player. He's getting better at working at bats. Sometimes progress is a non-linear path, right?
Yes,
and sometimes we see improvement and we see a level of decline. I think Jose is another guy. It wouldn't surprise me if some of this catches hold quickly and we see a lot of that swing and miss drop.
So Jose's kind of a guy that's really happy-go-lucky. I mean, he loves baseball. He's always got a smile on his face. So when you see him walk off and he looks kind of defeated after he struck out a couple of times, and you know that's completely against his personality, how do you handle that as a hitting coach?
Oh, man, that keeps you up at night. As a hitting coach, Casey, there's nothing, I would say try to give as much love as possible to the guys. Just love them unconditionally at all times. These are human beings that are asked to do an extremely hard job. The stakes are really high for them. They're trying to provide for their family. They come from a ton of different backgrounds. Try to love on them. And like when there's tears, it's like it's everybody. My tears are coming. With these guys. When we're happy together. But I would say more often than not, as a hitting coach, if 8 guys did really well and 1 guy struggled, although we're really enjoying the success from the 8, that 1 is gonna keep us up, and we're gonna be in the office looking at video and digging in and texting with them and calling him and and meeting with them, and it's just it eats you up. There's nothing. There's no way to beat it, Casey. There's no technique. There's nothing you can do. If you want to be a hitting coach, it's just reality. And you start getting gray hair, and you learn to sleep less, and that's just how it is.
There's no magic wand, no doubt about that. So last question on Jose Ramos, and you don't have to go into very much detail here, but it seems to me like when he's thinking maybe not necessarily opposite field, but at least maybe right center field gap, is that when he's at his best?
Sometimes.
Yeah,
sometimes. So I would say that that's definitely an area of strength for him on the field. And partly, with how his swing plays, that's an area of strength. And partly of like how he's pitched a lot. That's an area of strength. Pitchers love trying to tuck a ball up underneath his hands and then working the ball away from him once they feel like they've gotten him off the plate. And, he's playing that cat and mouse game, and he understands, you tuck one under my hands. Well, I'm watching you, and I've played this game long enough that I might have a feeling I know what's coming behind it. So it is an area of strength. I would say for the most part, he's a gap-to-gap hitter. He's somebody he's really not selling out for the pull side home run. Right. With some guys, sometimes when you see some swing and miss, you think that they're chasing power. Jose's chasing being a good teammate and productive for the team. So he'll do whatever it takes. I will say, thing about Jose Ramos is he's a big game player. He played in the Premier 12 for Panama. He had a big home run there. World Baseball Classic qualifiers, big home runs there. We played in the Midwest League playoffs. Just missed a home run and then hit a bullet in a game that we got eliminated in. But when the moment's big, he steps up. I think he had a couple walk-off hits for us. Big-time player. So, the approach is gap to gap. He's trying to use the middle of the field, and he's trying to hit the ball on the line.
Staying in the outfield, kind of tied to Jose Ramos because they've kind of got promoted at similar intervals as Damon Keith. Of course, he had the hamate injury early in the year, and he just made a splash there in early June where he had 2 walk-offs against the same pitcher in the same week whenever his first couple of weeks coming back. Damon Keith, I tell people, watch out, because maybe the strongest player on the field and then also maybe the fastest player on the team. This guy has an incredible upside, doesn't he?
Oh, Damon Keith is extremely twitchy. He's got speed. He's got power. Athletically is everything you'd ask for. He's got the size. He's got the speed. He really does have some intrinsic contact skills in there, and to pair with the power. So, when he went down, boy, he had a big spring training too. We were expecting some big things. He was the guy that I think of all the players in the organization, I picked him as having the biggest bounce back here before the season after having spent spring training with him. So he went down early, came back, took him a few games to get back into it, but hit the ground running. And the 2 walk-off hits he had off the same pitcher for Arkansas, he actually, he had another base hit off of him when we went to Arkansas, and then the pitcher got called up to the big leagues the next day. So I was talking with their hitting coach, Mike Francoso. He and I go way back, and he tells me about the call up, and I said, "Wow, that's pretty awesome. It's always great when a Texas leaguer gets called up straight to the big leagues." And he said, "Yeah," he goes, "we're just a little worried that you guys might send Damon Keith up too, because the Dodgers are playing Seattle next week." And I thought it was pretty funny, but. Damon can really do it. He impacts the ball with the best of them.
He had a 105-mile-an-hour. He had a 2-strike count on him, and he's probably looking away. He got fisted, got jammed a little bit, and just inside outed one to right field at 105 miles an hour. So it was like, wow. I mean, not very many human beings on earth can do that.
You're right. You're right. He's got the type of power that is when you look at like the big boys on TV, right? You've got like Stanton, Judge, Ohtani. These guys are hitting the ball really, really hard. Like Damon Keith's right there. He's putting out 115s, 116s in the game. And you're right. Like we talk a lot about taking swings at like an 80-70% effort for Damon, especially when he's behind in the count. And because his 80% effort is like 107, 108 off the bat. It's just like that's light work for him. He hits the ball really, really hard, and it's a blessing for him.
So I know you don't use any one metric because then you become unbalanced and that kind of thing. So you don't just use exit velo. You don't just use launch angles. I know you guys like to have a little bit higher launch angle. You don't want them negative type launch angles. But would you say that the exit velos like a Damon Keith has, is that a pretty good indicator that player can play in the major league someday?
I wouldn't say that it's a 1-to-1 where if you have super high exit velos, you will make it. That is just what exit velo allows you to do is for every mile an hour or two you hit it harder, right? The defense just gets a little bit less time to react, and then the ball flies a little bit further. So it just gives him a little bit more margin for getting hits. Yeah, I think it's the combination of launch angle, exit velo, but we need to make contact, and we need to make contact with pitches that are tough to hit. Not just the cookies. We can't miss the cookies, but then we also we got to hit the crumbs too. So, it's really everything together. I would say our organization is not talking about exit velo as a core standard. We understand that it's really the combination of a few different ingredients that helps you to become a big league hitter, because Luis Arias, he's not going to go out there. There's no world where he hits 120 mile an hour exit velo.
Austin Gauthier.
Right. That's just not in their bag of tricks. But hitting a ball at like 100 or 102 all the time and doing it a bunch, that is in their bag of tricks. And so it's just everybody's got a different type of skill set, and all of those players are valuable in their own right.
So we've talked about the two big catchers, Dalton Rushing and Diego Cartaya. We've talked about Damon Keith and Jose Ramos, two of the most talented young outfield prospects, certainly in the Dodgers organization, in all of baseball, in my opinion. So that brings me into, would you tell us your philosophy on how you try to create big gulps with your hitters?
Yeah, right. Yeah. We've talked about this before. Yeah.
Yes, I love it.
Different size cups, right? So you've got a 10-ounce cup, you've got a 12-ounce cup, you've got the big gulp, right? 40 2-ounce cup, right? So yeah, that's an old Craig Wallenbrock saying, and I don't know where he got it. He might have stolen it from somebody, but I think it's great. Yeah, certain players they've got a 10-ounce cup, and our goal is fill the 10 ounces up. We don't want an 8-ounce out of that 10. We want 10 out of 10. And same with the big gulp guys, right? Like Ohtani, right? That's a big engine. It's full. Yeah, it's full. He's maximizing what he does. But there are a lot of players that have a big engine, but they only use half of it, right? So they're using half of what they've got because for whatever reason, the pieces just don't fit together.
Yeah. Can't be afraid to fail to try to become a big gulp too, right?
No. That's a good point, Casey. I've seen some players go through professional seasons. They come in out of college, right? There's a lot of confidence. They just got some money, and they've got an opportunity. And after their first, half a season, they'll come back, maybe have the same enthusiasm. And then if they do see extra failure, I've seen a lot of players let the fear of getting out prevent them from taking a step forward. And I think something for young hitters, young hitters, college hitters, pro hitters to realize is it's not so much about preventing failure. It's about putting yourself in a position to succeed. That's the most important part. So I got out today. If I struck out 4 times, well, how did I strike out? Right. And a lot of hitters, young hitters, they strike out because they looked at strike 1 and strike 2, and then they swung at strike 3 in the dirt. Right. That's like, they didn't really do anything wrong. They just didn't even do anything right.
Right. Yeah. Right. Absolutely.
They just needed to swing the bat. So no. And then there are other reasons people strike out. They swing and miss in the middle of the count, and you just work on it, and it shouldn't take away from your confidence. It shouldn't take away from you putting your best effort out there and trusting yourself and your abilities. All you're doing is building an extra piece to your skill, and that's putting you in a position to succeed. Yeah, you cannot be afraid of failure in this game.
One of my favorite, most exciting players that I like to watch is Bubba Alleyne. He's a switch hitter. He was a 2022 Player of the Year in the Big Ten at Maryland. And this dude is very dynamic. And you talk about a guy that plays all out with a smile on his face. I love Bubba Alleyne.
Yeah, we all do. Bubba is an infectious guy.
Yes.
He, he's in a room when he's in a room, and that's something that not everybody can say. And it's a big personality. He gets on the field. It doesn't matter what has happened before. He's going to give his best effort in the game on every single out. He'll put his body on the line. He's kind of like a crash test dummy, right? I'm messing with him because I don't know how many times he ran into the wall down in the left field. And I'm going, Bubba, if you just take an angle like a little bit this way and then you break it down a little bit, you can save your shoulder, let's just slow it down. And he's like, I don't know, man. I want to cut the ball off. I'm like, hey, you're turning yourself into a crash test dummy out there, So, but yeah, Bubba is he's a great guy, a great teammate, gets out there, works his butt off, and you can't say more about a guy that does that.
And he's very talented. He had his best year as a pro this year, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. That first little half year is tough to get a snapshot on players, especially now. The draft's really late. So then he went to the Midwest League, really his first full season, and it's a really tough league. The way that year went, it was tough for him to ever get some momentum going. And so this year he came in really focused. We were able to do a couple small things in spring training and a couple small things early in the season, and he just rolled. He just kept going, kept his focus very narrow, and just played. It was awesome.
Okay, let's move to your infield. One of the most talented infielders. I get asked about this young man at all times. I keep telling people he's one of the most talented offensive and defensive players out there. Alex Freeland, what a talent.
Right. Alex he's young, switch hitting shortstop.
Yes. 30 stolen bases. I mean, come on, man. Right?
Yeah. We're talking about another guy that can kind of do it all. Boy, he is a good ball player. He is a really good ball player. He's a good teammate, plays really hard. And he is, I can't wait to see what the next couple of years brings for Alex, because he is on a very strong upward trajectory. Talking to him, you would think he's like a 10-year professional baseball veteran, because he is very smart, but he does run into a lot of situations where we'll talk after the game and he's like, man, that was different. Like that sequence of pitches, I didn't think I would see that. And then we'll sit down and look at why did you get that sequence? Let's look at it. And a lot of times you can find clues that would help you before the at bat to figure out, well, if he starts doing this and this, here's how this is going to go. So I think with Alex just continuing to get more reps, he's very intentional with his work, continuing to be a little bit more prepared. And not that he's not prepared. He's very prepared before the game, but he's going to continue to figure out what he needs in his preparation to be ready in the box. And I think that's going to play a big role in dropping that strikeout rate as well.
My man, Austin Gauthier, Gator, man. I loved it when Gator got to go back home at shortstop. He loves playing shortstop. He'll play anywhere on the field. This dude actually walked more than he struck out in 2023. He had a WRC plus of 150 or above, which puts him in an elite category in terms of a single season there. Had another good season last year. Talk about Gator. Yeah,
Gator's a baseball rat. And he had a great opportunity this year to as a non-roster invite in Major League Camp. Great opportunity there. He learned a lot from that experience. And I think this year was it wasn't exactly the year he had in mind. And I think it'll serve him well in the future. Of course, we all wanted Gator to continue to build off of last year, and in a lot of ways he did build off of last year. But I think it'll serve him well for next year, because sometimes a couple seasons of success, you start going, I just kind of got it in the bag. Although he's not that type of guy. He plays with a chip on his shoulder. He wants to be great. He doesn't want to be good. He wants to be great, and he shows it with his work.
He absolutely is, and is he the best hitter you've ever worked with hitting the ball the other way?
Oh boy, he's got to be up there. He's got to be close. He could do it. I mean, like we could probably throw a baseball out into right center and say, "Hey, Gator, hit a ball off that baseball." He probably could do it.
Yeah, If there's a such thing as a game of horse in baseball, as far as hitters go, he would win every game of horse.
You wouldn't want to play with him. You wouldn't want to play with him.
One really cool thing about the Tulsa lineup last year is you had your big thumpers like Jose Ramos, Damon Keith, Alex Freeland could thump from time to time, and then you had Austin Beck there for a while who could hit really light tower home runs. Well, he had a really good year until he got injured, and I enjoyed watching him play until he decided to hang it up and retire. But he was great. But then you also had the Bubba Alleynes who were very dynamic and they were fun to watch. And then you had maybe two of the best table setters of anybody in the organization with T.Y. Taylor Young, who had 56 stolen bases in 2023. Didn't have quite as many last year, but still led the organization, the minor leagues, in stolen bases. And then Jainer Fernandez, who was a little bit up and down, but once he got moved back to catcher, really caught fire.
Yeah. So Taylor Young, just like you said, a great table setter. Another guy who's he's a great baseball player, baseball rat, wants to be great, works his tail off. And so, T.Y.'s a guy who, kind of like Bubba, like the personality, it's big. It's big, guys, and he's got some maturity to him. So, he's able to have conversations with anybody in the clubhouse. They're fun, and he goes to work. So he's a guy that another guy I'm really excited to see what he'll do going forward. I think this is the first year pitchers were able to really execute off of his weakness. Yes. And where last year he had a lot of success in 23, and he was able to get a few more pitches where he wanted the ball and the specific types of pitches he wanted. This year he was getting attacked with his weakness a little bit more, and he really recognized it. He's working right now. I mean, he's getting after it, trying to clean some things up, and I think he will. And then Jainer Fernandez, you're right. Once he started catching, I think big thing for Ye was going into the year, he had just kind of flown through, and the jump between high A and double A is pretty big. So he had flown through. Double A kind of punched him early, and he had to make some adjustments just in how his at bats were going. He had to take a little bit different approach to his at bats. Once he figured out how that was going, right, the swing was something he was working on all year too, and had some things come together for him, and put some really consistent games together down the stretch. And he's a guy that, if he gets more time behind the plate, he can play a few different positions. He's pretty versatile. But like we kind of joke when he digs his back foot in, you're like, oh, this is a base hit. Like 2 strikes, Jainer starts digging in that back cleat. It's like, oh, this is a base hit. It's just an auto base hit.
You see that temper flare up, and they're like, okay, we're in good shape, boys.
Yeah, exactly. We can all see it. So it's Jainer went into base hit mode. He's going to get one right here.
Where does an offensive profile like Taylor Young, like Jainer Fernandez, and Austin Gauthier, where does that profile fit in the system?
It fits anywhere. It fits. You can plug and play. You can plug and play anywhere. So those type of guys, like we're just looking for overall value, right? Yeah. And so just kind of like the core Moneyball idea is like, can this guy get on base? So, that's the core, right? Can he get on base? Can he find a way on base somehow? And then can he advance situations, right? If we've got a runner at first base and no outs, can he advance that situation without grounding into a double play and making it a terrible situation? Or we have a runner at third base, less than 2 outs. Can he improve that situation and score that run? Do they take walks? What do they do on the bases, right? And so both of those guys, they're guys that can, or all 3 of those guys, I'm sorry, they're guys that can do things in different ways, right? They're good base runners. They're aggressive. Gauthier's going to go first to third on you. Taylor Young's going to steal second base on you. And then if you put your head down, he's going to steal third base. And so that's really how those, right? These are like ball players, right? So you've got your elite power hitters, and those are those are not a dime a dozen, right? Those are rare guys, and not every team has a bunch of them. And you have other players that do different things. Well, like the Tommy Edmonds, right? That's this type of profile with these guys. And all three of those guys are capable. They're going to continue to develop as they get older, get more mature, get smarter, and but there's a fit, and there's obviously a fit. Tommy got paid, and Tommy got paid for good reason. He's a good ball player, and good ball players are always going to be important in the game of baseball.
They are. I absolutely love watching him play. A couple more guys I want to talk about. Noah Miller, who got brought up there about 3/4 of the way through the season. Fantastic defensive player. Offensive, we've kind of described it as if he could just be maybe a league average offensive player, then he is going to be a great player because he's that good defensively. Am I selling him short there?
I think he could be better than the league average. I think it's in the tank. Yeah. Noah's smart. Noah's a good ball player. Noah doesn't swing and miss very much. The switch hitting is pretty good. He understands at his – also, he's a guy that – I'm going to say he's a younger guy, and now I'm probably going to get a call from Alex Freeland. I'm probably going to get a call from Noah Miller saying, hey, man, like, we're not young. But, like, these are guys that are they're still maturing through the professional baseball career and figuring some things out. But Noah already has a pretty good IQ for what he hits well and what he doesn't. And as time goes on, he's going to continue to have a better approach. So I actually think he can be better than just league average. I think he's another guy. His body's going to develop a little bit. He's going to get a little stronger. He's going to hit the ball a little bit harder than he is right now. I'm pretty optimistic on Noah Miller. The defense is 80 grade. It's as good as it gets in professional baseball. And so just continuing to add. He does take a lot of pride in hitting too. So it's not like it's just ground ball, and then hitting. I'll just go do that. He doesn't do that. He's very focused on being good on both sides of the ball and being good at both sides, on the right and left side. So I think he can be a little bit better than league average.
Chris Newell, who you got to work with, wow, what a talent! I mean, this guy, holy smokes, he is so talented. Talk about Chris Newell.
Chris has amazing power, light tower power. When he hits home runs, it's not surprising, but it is surprising sometimes how hard and how high and how far he hits the ball. But when he hits it on the barrel, he hits it really, really hard. He's working his tail off to continue to be more consistent at the plate. We saw the jump this year was difficult from him difficult for him between high A and double A, but another guy he's going to figure some things out. But Chris is a great guy, works extremely hard, and I think a full, healthy 2025 season, really excited to see what he's going to do with that.
I'm super excited to see him. Last two guys I wanted to talk about, I think the most underrated offensive prospect in the system, Kyle Nevin. I think he has a tremendous upside. And then also Josue DePaula, you got to work with. I know you didn't work with him last year. You got to work with him in the past. So talk about Josue DePaula, Kyle Nevin, those two.
Yeah, I'll start with Nevin. And Nevin, you're right. Nevin's a guy who he's going to be a really good ball player. He is a good ball player. He's going to be a really good ball player. He has some power. He has the ability to make a lot of contact. He's very smart and working through the best way to game plan for him and just kind of figure out like where he needs to look for different pitchers and what'll keep him in the strike zone most often. But without completely taking away what he's good at, which is swinging and being aggressive. So he's working through that. He's going to get better. The swing's going to continue to get better. He's coming off an injury. So the 24 season was just awesome that he was on the field for the whole year, going down with the injury in the 23 season. And that was something that was difficult, and he was still going through kind of the rehab process and all of that during the year. I would say the next season will be like more telling of like who he is, and he's going to do great. He is. And then Josue DePaula. Yeah, I had DePaula in 2023 in Rancho. Was really impressed by him. His first at bat, I think he singled up the middle, like first or second pitch he saw, and really kind of blew me away. He's got a very good feel for what his swing should do, how his swing works. He's got a good feel for when to be a little more aggressive, when to scale back and look to move the ball around the field a little bit more. So he's got a really good feel with the bat. He's getting better in the outfield. He can run. He's getting stronger. He's got a really big frame, that's continuing to fill out. So he's gonna get stronger. He's just fun. He's got superstar type vibes to him, and he brings a lot of fun with him. So yeah, DePaula, I think Dodger fans should be really excited for Josue DePaula, really, and all the guys we talked about today.
Yeah.
There are a lot of exciting guys in the system for sure.
Yeah. I can't leave without talking about my man, GLP. I didn't mean to leave him off. The Swiss Army knife, over 142 or how many games did you play in Double-A? Everybody has to have a Griffin Lockwood-Powell, right?
Yeah. I mean, everybody deserves a Griffin Lockwood-Powell, but we're the only one that had one.
Yeah, right.
It's a pleasure. It is a pleasure to be around him. He is really funny. He's got clubhouse vibes at an all-time high when he's involved, and he's a very good baseball player. He's very smart. He communicates extremely well. It's really easy to put him behind the plate because he can take information that the pitcher needs and get that to the pitcher, and he retains information really well. And he's really dangerous at the plate. If you make a pitch in the wrong location, like he's probably going to hit it hard. He has a lot of quality at bats. He's a very good player. But yeah, everyone deserves to have him. But we were fortunate to be the only ones that did.
Yeah. Finish with this and finish on a high note. Every time I get to talk about Henny, I take advantage of it because I know you got to work with him for the first year in a dugout all year. His positive vibes were incredible, and then he got moved up to AAA. That was cool, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Henny really deserves it. He's been working really hard out in Tulsa, and super happy for him. He's a player's manager. He's keeping the guys upbeat. He's got the jokes ready. He's got the energy ready, and he's making sure he's keeping players and staff really enthusiastic and ready to go every day. Yeah, he's a great guy.
Absolutely. Dylan Nasiatka, any final thoughts here before we get out of here?
No. Thank you, Casey. I appreciate you having me on. Yeah, it's fun to talk about these guys.